Hello, Sumo fans. I'm here for our final live stream of this Natsu Basho. There's some crazy airplane flying above my house, and it's shaking my house. That's pretty crazy. Alright, we'll get to the usual. Today was definitely more eventful than yesterday, and I dare to say that this whole thing might be already wrapped up, perhaps. We have a little bit more to go, but today was pivotal. So let's start with the lower ranked bouts and work our way up and then go from there. Okay, so Asakura versus Roga. Asakura makes a nice improvement from yesterday. He continues to impress me. The key moment was it looked like he was going to get pushed out again. And he avoided it, grabbed the arm, and starts the train of the Kotanage. Today was Kotanage Day. We had 3 of them. It is my opinion that it's sort of catching. Somebody does a move that's nice, and it just sort of flows all the way up and down, and it gets into wrestlers' minds, and they all say, maybe I'll give that a shot. So, Asakura is looking good. I hope he gets his Kachikoshi and look forward to seeing what he's going to do in the next tournament. Couple notes on some other guys. Kaio, it's just amazing how fast and agile he is for his size. It throws people off. They just expect, brutish pushing out of the ring, and he just sort of slips right to the side, and that's all she wrote. Takanosho doing decent. Probably better than he's been doing in a while. Hopefully he can get his Kachikoshi. I'm not super thrilled for him because he should be doing better. But hey, I'll take whatever good we can get out of him. And then it always surprises me when Midori Fuji goes straight on with the big guys. He had Shonana Umi today. And he did what he usually does. He goes straight on with guys and still manages a win when he's having a good tournament. So this was a nice twist of fate for him. The crowd is super behind him. I was shocked how many people were out of their seats, and there was like an Ura match. So he's got an opportunity. If he keeps this going, he still has a chance for a 6-9, which won't be so bad. When we go to the recap and we're looking at everybody's scores, we hopefully can just forget how bad this tournament was by the time it ends. Kimbozan dominated Atami Fuji. Not a good sign. I know Kimbozan really is a better wrestler than his rank, but Atami Fuji, it really feels like he should be doing better than this. I know everybody feels that, and he's just, whatever's wrong with him, it's still there. And sweet second Kotanage by Toki Hayate and Shirana Umi. Definitely the flavor of the day. Tobizaru versus Shishi. This was a first-time matchup. Shishi almost snapped off Tobizaru's arm. It was beautiful chaos, the two of them together. When the match was about to start, I'm like, I don't know what's happening here. But Tobizaru, in desperation, breaks free, pulls the Katatsukashi, and Shishi is in the same position he's been in this entire tournament, which is not well. I do expect him to be heading to Juryo. Then we talk about the best match of the day, and some might say the best match of the tournament. Takayasu versus Ura. Who expected this to be the match that it was? My goodness. So it took a variety of turns. It started off as a Sapati slap fest. Then they switched to the grapple. Now, a big part of why this match went this way is because Takayasu, he's nothing like Ura, but at the same time, he has that variety of sumo. He can Supari, he can grab the belt, he can overpower you. And then you have Ura, he's up for whatever comes his way. He kind of makes his decisions in the match itself. So they go with Sapati, then they grapple. They're both trying to get to the belt. Then you see Ura's head lower and position into Takayasu's armpit. And tell me you didn't know something awesome was coming. I was like, some crazy move's about to happen if he can pull it off. He ends up pulling off a Sutaizori, which is an underarm forward body drop. Now, Ura has officially fulfilled his role. The record does not matter. The Japanese fans have a great story to tell in this sold-out tournament. But poor Takayasu was walking very gingerly afterwards. I'm assuming it's still his back, but hopefully he didn't receive a new injury from that devastating move. It was hard to watch because I don't want to see that happen to Takayasu, but I also want to see Ura get wins, and I love when he pulls off these rare Kimarites. So a little bit of a tough one, but also awesome at the same time. Now, we're going to get into the matches that everybody really cared about in terms of the Yusho race. Aoi Nishiki versus Koto Sakura. So, Aoi Nishiki pushed Koto to the edge. And I think, the strategy probably was, get Koto Sakura going backwards. Everybody knows the knee is a little suspect. But that Kotanage influence was strongly in the water. And Koto, he gritted it out. He pulls it off, and Aoi Nishiki gets a face full of dirt for his trouble. This is a hard way to start dropping out of the race. But this is valuable, valuable experience for him. He will know next time what it's like to fight Koto Sakura. And he'll come up with another strategy. And then the biggest match, Yusho defining match, probably was Onosato versus Wakatakage. There's only two people that I thought, possibly three on a good day though. There's only two people that I expected that could get in his way, and that was Wakatakage, Hoshiru, with a possibility of Koto Sakura. The only reason why I question it is because of the knee, not because of the ability. They actually are both big guys, so it's a match that Onosato doesn't get that often. He can't just overpower Koto Sakura the way he does other guys. So if Wakatakage took a win off of Onosato today, it was going to be a big deal, but he did not. Waka really took it to Onosato. He was trying to throw. He was trying to pull it off on the edge like he did the day before. But Onosato seems to be so singularly focused that all he did was sort of push his weight to crush. Like, he just pushed his weight forward. Though he was sideways, it's in his head. Go forward, go forward, go forward. Takes his body, just crushes Wakatakage. He had no more room. If this was in the middle of the ring, Onosato probably would have gotten thrown. But he's not allowing people to do that to him this tournament. He's a different fighter. Definitely we've seen him level up. Beating Wakatakage this way shows that. In times past, you would have said, oh, he looks really, really shaky. He's about to lose. But in this case, even though he looked a little shaky, he still looked dominant. So I think at this point, anything could still happen, but he's got a 2-win advantage. With only a couple days left, I think we've already, give him the Yusho, give him the Yokozuna promotion. I think that's what's going to happen. It just seems like a foregone conclusion. He would have to have a complete collapse because he's not going to face Hoshiru until the final day. He might have the whole thing wrapped up before he faces him. Speaking of which, Hoshiru had Haku Oho today. Hoshiru was in trouble immediately, but that strong desire to win and the Yokozuna pride and all the different things that are bubbling up inside of him would not allow him to be pushed out. Now, when I first saw it, I thought that he had pushed Haku Oho down, but the official Kimarite was Koshi Kudake, which means inadvertent collapse. So they basically said Haku Oho would have collapsed regardless of what Hoshiru did. Either way, Hoshiru escapes from falling down first. It was shaky, but whatever. He's got to do what he's got to do. He's got to be Yokozuna. He's got to stay in this thing as long as possible and have a really good score so that people get off his back about, you're not a Yokozuna. So, this is what we're left with. There's only 2 guys who can win this thing at this point, Onosato or Hoshiru. Both Aoi Nishiki and Haku Oho lost today. Tomorrow, Onosato has Haku Oho. At this point, I would expect he's going to beat him, but you never know. There's still a itsy-bitsy chance that Haku Oho learned a lot from his match with Hoshiru, and he comes up with something. I don't think it's going to happen, though. But hey. And then we have Hoshiru versus Kirishima. This is a classic match. These two were Ozeki together. These two were rising to Ozeki together. They have a long history. And, you know, this time it really matters. It matters for Kirishima because he's really trying to get himself back into Ozeki. And he needs to just start putting together double-digit wins. This is important, obviously, for Hoshiru for pride. He wants to stay in this thing as long as possible. You know, the beautiful, wonderful thing would be as if we could get to day 15 and it came down to those two and whoever wins. Like, even if it was Hoshiru wins and then we go to a playoff, amazing. Or if it's Hoshiru or Onosato wins, they win the Yusho. This is what everybody wants. So, I do see a comment that I can't wait to get to. I will be there in a second. Tomorrow, I do think officially decides things. Like, if he beats Haku Oho tomorrow, which he probably will, then I think, let's see, he'd be 12-0. Hoshiru would be 10-3 or 10-2 if he goes still technically in it. But then Friday. The point is that if he wins tomorrow and goes 12-0, it's pretty much it. But anyway, let's get to your comments because I'm far more interested in what you guys have to say. So MKG says, give Onosato the cup and call it a tournament. I kind of feel that way right now. In times past, I have felt like, oh, Onosato's shaky. He's going to lose one. I don't have that feeling right now. He could possibly lose to Hoshiru. However, I could also see him being Hoshiru in the state that he's in right now. Either way, it might be wrapped up before he faces Hoshiru, so we will see. These Day 12 matchups leave something to be desired in the top division. Juryo is stacked, though, at least. Yeah, you know, it's been a weird tournament, right? I think because so many guys are in ranks that they shouldn't be in, at least compared to their past. We had some really good matches in the first week that would typically be second week matches if the guys were ranked properly for their own level. Not saying they weren't rightly put in those ranks. And then you have this weird stuff at the end here where, you know, Haku Oho is in there. And yeah, he's doing great, but there's a lot of Sanyaku to fight. So, I don't know. The matchups have felt a little weird. The fact that Onosato is dominating, it eliminates the 7-3s. Typically, we'd be more excited about the 7-3s. So there's a weird vibe with the matchups. Hello, Colin. No, he'll pick up a loss and then Hoshiru will have a shot to tie it up. Kiri beats him. That's my wish as a selfish Hoshiru fan. Army, I want the exact same thing, but I don't know if we're getting it this time. Onosato is looking good. Hats off to him. Yeah, I feel the same way. I mean, all the power to him if he becomes Yokozuna. I hope we don't get into this. My Yokozuna is better than your Yokozuna. It will happen. However, I think it helps the sport to have two. If you haven't seen it, Miyano Kaze versus Koto Eho and Juryo was an exhilarating fight. Miyano Kaze also used the Gyoji to stop himself from going out, which was funny. I have not seen it. I'll see if I can catch that. Shishi grabbed Tobizaru's arm, but it was so lumbering that Tobi just broke free and continued the fight like nothing happened. Yes, but he did look like he had some pain on his face. He almost had this like, yo, what are you doing, dude? Get off my arm. And Shishi he doesn't know how to keep the hold. Onosato won't have the possibility of losing till day 15, and even then I think he beats Hosh. I think he could. Hoshiru is still not dominating right now, but Hoshiru is doing better than he was. Like, even as an Ozeki, we haven't seen him 9-2 as often as we would like. He's slowly, this is how Hoshiru's career has been. When he got to the top division, he didn't pull an Onosato and, like, get double-digit scores in his debut and zoom all the way up to the top. He was such a slow climber, and he was getting all kinds of flack. You're Asashiryu's nephew. Why are you not better than this? Why are you not more dominant? Because he's a different kind of fighter. So the same thing is happening now in Yokozuna, is that he needs to take his time, and he's slowly getting better and slowly getting better. If he stays healthy, we are going to see some great years with him. So Onosato, he's the great prodigy. Those exist. And I think he's looking well enough that he could beat Hoshiru. But never, ever count out Hoshiru's absolute gut-wrenching desire not to lose. It does matter. It is a factor. Poor Takeru Fuji and Midori Fuji, all for records this basho. Takeru Fuji has been found out in terms of everybody knows that he puts everything into the tachi, so they just plan for that. They either know how to absorb it, or, you know, they know what they're going to do right after, or there's a little bit of a shift. He doesn't necessarily have the next thing, which surprises me because he was so dominant in his debut, but dare I say, if he's not careful, he winds up being a Chiyo Tairyu, which Chiyo Tairyu is great, but he's not of the caliber that we expect Takeru Fuji to be in. Midori Fuji, he's a small guy. This is just what it is. This is the life of small man sumo. Sometimes it just doesn't work because they have such a bigger advantage over you. Hoshiru leads head-to-head. I like his chances out of anyone else. Yes, Hoshiru has had Onosato's number, so he has the best chance out of anybody. Wakatakage also was 2-2 with Onosato. But that doesn't mean Onosato hasn't leveled up and is ready to take Hoshiru on. So we'll see. It was the perfect match. Long, evenly fought, no lengthy lockups, and ended with a rare Kimarite. It really was the perfect match. Once again, if you want to introduce somebody to sumo, show them an Ura match, and now you can say show them the Ura Takayasu match. Kiri could give Onosato issues. He's looking stronger this basho. He could, but, you know, he's not fighting him tomorrow. So we'll see. I mean, Kiri does have a possibility, I agree. He's looking very strong, and he's very clever. The record has to get better at some point. Why not now? Because I'm so far behind, I'm not sure what we're referring to. Hopefully we're referring to Midori Fuji. Could, but I'm just riding with my guy. Yeah, I mean, when you have a guy, you just have to root for them, whether it's possible or impossible. No doubt Onosato is looking good. Awa Nishiki really brought it to Kotozakura. I think he might have won if he just charged forward instead of going for that second throw. I think there was a lot of nerves because this is the first time matchup, and Kotozakura is just a big dude, and he's got a lot more experience. Awa Nishiki is very green, and I think he just got overzealous a little bit. He needed, you can't really stop and think in a sumo match, but he needed to just slow it down a little bit. Haku Oho threw that match. He had won it. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say he threw it. I'd say the same exact thing happened to him. He didn't expect to get the jump on Hoshiru the way he did. Then he got sort of panicky and didn't pay attention to his footwork. And by the time he gets him to the edge, his feet were already way off the ground. It was just a matter of time. All Hoshiru had to do was keep himself standing. A rare losing technique. Yes, a rare one indeed. On Tache blog, the writer complained that Onosato should be fighting the well-performing Sanyaku over Haku Oho. I'm inclined to agree. Yeah, I think so too. There's probably a couple things at work. I mean, it's all set up where Haku Oho is performed well enough. However, he's pretty much out of it now with the loss today. Not officially, though. So they have reason they could put him in there, but I agree he should be fighting tougher fights if he's going on a Yokozuna run. If it was Take Keisho, we know what would have happened. They give Takakeisho everybody. They'd be like, you have to fight 2 guys at once, and we still won't give you the promotion. Waka had the position on Onosato and could have finished that, but didn't capitalize. He just ran out of room. He really needed to pull that off way sooner. Yes, you are late, Habob Gob. You're usually the first one messaging. With my luck, they won't put Kirishima against Onosato, hoping Kiri gets lifted out yet again by Hoshiru. It's going to be a good one. Hopefully Hoshiru's got his head together and isn't thinking too far ahead. He's got to really focus on that match tomorrow. I think he still loses to Hosh at the end, but the lead will be too big. Very likely scenario. Very, very likely. Ao Nishiki really showed himself well in that loss. He's got real potential. He's so impressive. And I remember everyone talking about him, and I hadn't watched any of his matches, and then he starts 2 tournaments ago. And he starts off a little rough, and I immediately was like, here we go. Another Juryo guy getting punished in the top division. He's not ready. And he made adjustments so quick. And the next thing you know, he's got double-digit wins and just looks so impressive out there. He is one of those wrestlers. Keep your eye on him. He's one of the special ones. He's got to stay healthy, but it seems like he's a really quick learner, and he's really strong. So he could be up in Sanyaku way quicker than we expected originally. Very surprised Ao Nishiki couldn't beat Koto in the shape they're both in. He's got really close. Like I said, I think he got overzealous. Maybe, I don't want to say panicky, but too excited. Too excited. Oh, I'm losing my comments. Hold on. Let's see. Ao Nishiki has fought Daisho before, so we might have more luck there. How did he end up fighting Daisho before? Oh, he must have gotten him one of the past 2 tournaments. Also, low-key notable tomorrow is Wakatakage versus Oshoma. Oshoma leads the head-to-head 3-1. Pretty much the best match he could have gotten, being pulled up to fight the top guys. Interesting. Onosato should have Hosh, Koto, Hakuoho, and probably Daisho in his matches. Even though Kiri has the same record as Daisho, they bent over backwards to give Kiri an easy recovery to Kachikoshi last basho. Yeah, but isn't he 7-3? I mean, I don't know. Colin's going to sleep. Good night. Thanks for stopping by. Let's see. I was surprised Ao Nishiki didn't get a Monoe. I did not notice. Oh, you're talking about there at the end. The thing is that Koto Zakura, and I could see why you thought he would get a Monoe, but Koto Zakura was dominant in the position. And when you go to do a move like that, a lot of times that's what they look at. Like, who really was, if the ground didn't hit like that, who was really in control? Koto does the same thing every time Hoshiru tries to throw him. He just leans his mass on you and takes you down underneath him. Hoshiru beat him the last time by going forward instead. Yeah, and to some degree, that's what Onosato does too. Although Onosato sort of freight trains you out, but he definitely takes advantage of his mass. Hello, Mega Monster. Onosato won like that today. Army just leaned on Waka and his weight did the rest. Exactly. That's literally all he did. And that's why it's kind of like, I have nothing against him. He's a big guy. That's great. But that's why when people say Onosato's so much better than Hoshiru, it gets on my nerves because it's like, well, he's a way bigger guy. And all he really has to do is take his big body and smother you. Hoshiru's not a small guy, but Hoshiru being a smaller guy, he's got to be trickier. He's got to be more technical. He's got a more fiery personality. So, okay, Onosato might win more matches, but they're different types of fighters. And personally, I find Hoshiru more interesting. I see no reason to say, oh, let's dump Hoshiru and only have Onosato. That would be kind of boring, I think. Let's just have both. Asashoryu's other nephew is 6-0 in Jonidan. Oh boy. I can't wait for that. If that guy makes top division, Hoshiru will officially not be nephew anymore. Well, and Hoshiru's already made it to Yokozuna, so he's done everything he needed to do. Now, Asashiryu will have to start ragging on other nephew, and he'll officially be a nephew, and Hoshiru will be Hoshiru finally. Let's go new nephew. Yeah, somebody tell me his name. Hoshiru would like that. I agree. I think Shodai might just be getting old at this point. That was his first time ever losing to Chiyoshima, who's not exactly in peak performance either. Yeah, Shodai's lost his desire to be a sumo wrestler, and you mix that with getting older, and that's what you're going to get. Like, Tamawashi has never lost his desire, and that's why 40 does not matter for him. He could go to 50 for all we know. But Shodai, he doesn't seem like he really wants to do it anymore, but he has to provide for his family, so that's probably why he's still there. Even if Onosato wins, it would mean the Junyosho winner would get 12-3. It's been a while since a Junyosho non-player Fukushi got around 12 wins. Yeah, I think no matter what happens, unless he has a complete collapse and loses in the last couple days, he's getting this. Shodai very close to Juro demotion. Be very strange to see him down there. Hoshiru has more skills than Onosato by a good bit. He just doesn't have the mass. Yeah. And if you're going to be a thrower, especially if you're going to throw big guys like Onosato and Koto Zakura, you're also at more risk for injury. How's Onosato going to get injured? In his current state, how is he going to get injured? He literally doesn't even grab the belt half the time. He just sort of runs into you and knocks you out. So the only way he's getting injured is if somebody knocks him out and he falls awkwardly. Hoshiru has taken all the risk. That's why the elbow got hurt. So he takes all the risks. He's the smaller guy. And he is determined to win no matter what. So he does risky things. And then he gets a lot of crap for it. It doesn't make any sense to me. Are we watching the same sumo matches? Because I have nothing against Onosato. He's great, and I think we need all different types of fighters. But to just throw Hoshiru over here because Onosato has more wins, I don't feel like you're really watching. It doesn't mean Onosato won't have more one day, but it's as far away as to win as Hoshiru. Yeah, Onosato will still grow. That's the other thing. So I don't want anyone to think I'm ragging on him because I'm not. He's still quite new, even in comparison to Hoshiru. The guy just is zoomed up to the top. He's that talented. Just because you're big doesn't mean you're going to do what he's done either. You'd have to be skilled. As time goes on, he may do more stuff. But can you imagine if he started doing throws with the same level as Hoshiru? I mean, boy, no one would ever get a win off of him. That will come in time. But he'll learn it probably on the job as a Yokozuna, and it'll be fascinating to watch. But in the meantime, let's not kick Hoshiru to the curb here. His name is Tenrosei, is Asashiryu's other nephew's name. Interesting decision to not include a reference to his uncle's name. He is in Abi stable. Oh, very cool. I like that he's in Abi stable. Makushita Promotions. Only way Onosato would get injured is a fall off the dohyo. Exactly. And he's not Ichinojo. He's very, very nimble. You're not pushing that guy off the dohyo. So, he could twist an ankle or something or hurt a knee possibly. But the way that he's been fighting, it's a very good way to preserve yourself. Which is, my goodness, is that not more important than almost anything else? I mean, obviously you have to be a great sumo wrestler or you don't get there. But you have to stay healthy. That's part of the job. So he needs to stay healthy. And he doesn't have to take as many risks. Or sure, I worry a little bit. Okay, so back to Makushita Promotions. Otsuji, Kitanawaka, Dewa Noryu, Ishizaki, and Kotokuzan. He needs luck. Juryo Demotions, Wakanosho, Mudoho, all the J13 and J12, wow, and Hatsuyama. Promotions, definitely Kusano. We will be welcoming back Mitaki Yumi with 2 wins. Wakatakage and Hidenomi. Makauchi demotions. Tochi Taikai, Shonana Umi, Tamashoho, Shishi, Ruden, Kaio, and Midori Fuji. I hope Midori Fuji just wins out, and then we don't have to worry about that. If Onosato doesn't watch his weight, he has the risk of injuries like Koto and others with the bad knees like Terror, all that weight. Yeah, I did sort of change my mind mid-sentence. That does matter. That's the kind of injuries you'll get. You'll get a knee injury, maybe back spasms, and or ankle, but you won't necessarily get them from doing something awkward, like I said, the throws in the ring. Hoshiru hurt his hip doing a throw on Koto Sakura. He hurt his elbows doing... There's different body parts. You can end up with an elbow injury and a hip injury and an ankle injury. Look at Wakamoto Haru. I mean, just a foot injury and he couldn't even fight anymore because he relied so much on the pivots. The promotion picture in Juryo is fairly weak. If there's more than 3 or 4 demotables, I expect some of them will get a lucky break. To injure Onosato, the accuser might have to get involved. Well, we don't want that. I'm definitely not rooting for that. I'm knocking on wood. I want Onosato to be healthy and give us, 15 years of Yokozuna. Knees seem to be very common with the heavier guys. Absolutely. This would be the first time Hidenomi makes it back since his gambling suspension. Yeah, it really has been a long time since we've seen him. I was thinking myself, Onosato's career seems more likely to stall from injury than having someone else upstage him. That's the nature of sumo. Injury is in the back of everybody's mind. You don't want to focus on it too much because it's almost like you can will it to happen. But at the same time, when you're training, when you're practicing, when you're in that ring, there's a moment where you have to make sure in desperation times that you plant that foot properly, that you don't twist your back, that you don't fall. And, the times that you don't do that, you might get yourself injured. Hoshiru has arms, legs, and back with throws. Yeah, I mean, he's got 2 really big dudes that are up there with him, Koto Sakura and Onosato. He might need to start trying to go for something else, but you know him. He'll keep trying to throw them. Hidenomi finally focusing on sumo instead of babes. If you know, you know. Yeah, Hidenomi's got that sort of personality of sumos of old that you see on, TV shows and anime. A little bit of seedy activities. Maybe that's where Tobizaru learned it from. I don't know. Tobizaru, I'm starting to notice his ways. Guys, I should not be caught up to the comments at 33 minutes. You're putting me in a situation where I have to find something else to talk about. And I've already gone on a Hoshiru rant. I went on a Takakeisho rant last night. I don't want to talk about the rumors out there. So you guys got to bring topics up, or else we're going to have to end the live stream before an hour. Hoshiru started going for a lot more frontal force outs after the hip injury. He's definitely adjusted his style, which is good. You have to. Everybody should have a sit down with Tamawashi. Be like, so, explain to me what you did. They don't look the same, but personality-wise, I can see how they're related. Exactly. They look nothing alike, but they are so similar. Like, Tobizaru's got... I think Hidenomi's the older one. You can almost see, Hidenomi, getting them into a place, getting them into a situation, and Tobizaru being the guy who's... Hidenomi's just sitting in the corner watching, and Tobizaru's making everything happen. It's been a while since we've seen a Yokozuna with Onosato style. Yes. And, the second he started climbing up the ranks, I thought, man, this guy's going to be Yokozuna first. I did not expect Hoshiru to pull off what he pulled off. If he hadn't done what he did, winning those 3 wins, and they didn't feel the need to promote him with that, then Onosato would be getting it right now for the first time. And then he would have surpassed Hoshiru. And I think maybe that would have been a little harder for him. Gonoyama versus Abi. Always a classic match because, they're both going to, they're both pusher thrusters. However, I was about to say they'll both go hard at the Tachi, which probably won't happen. It'll probably be Abi slipping to the side. But maybe Gonoyama will expect that. Koto Shoho continuing to bring it. He's got a good chance of actually getting a Kachikoshi after this, which shows you how talented the guy is. All of his issues, the injuries, but also his mental stamina is all over the place. Can't decide what kind of sumo he wants to practice, if he's going to be a brawler or if he's going to be a belt guy. He just needs some sort of mental adjustment. Let's talk about, will Kiri make it back to Ozeki this year? I don't know. He's just so streaky. Kiri getting back to Ozeki feels like the same question as Takayasu winning a Yusho. He comes so close, and then he's hurt again. So close, and then he has a bad tournament. You can even throw Takekesho becoming Yokozuna into that same scenario. Here he goes. He has another promotion chance, and he's 2-8 and pulls out. It's starting to feel that way with Kirishima. So I don't know. I'd need to see him 3 tournaments in a row before I would put my faith in that. Like 3 really good tournaments, and that would be him making Ozeki. Shishi greatest ever Makuuchi 18 Rikishi discuss. One could make that point, since there haven't been many Maegashira 18 Rikishi. That's not a ranking that's usually available. And he is highly entertaining. For the fact, we've never seen a guy quite like him. You remember a Shishi match. Maybe for the wrong reasons, but why are we watching sumo? Let's ask that question. Why are we watching sumo? Why are they doing sumo? What's the greater philosophy in all this? They're doing sumo because they have a yearning in their soul to be the best, to compete, to rank up, to gain all the accolades of being a top wrestler. Why are we watching sumo? To be entertained. So, does it matter if some guys are entertaining for different reasons? Maybe the wrong reasons. Nope. Not to me. We need all types of sumo wrestlers, except for the guy who shall not be named. We don't need anyone like him. Will Shishi end up back in Juryo? I believe so. Now, maybe he'll go and win the Juryo Yusho and come back, but I think he is headed there. Thinking Waka could turn this into an Ozeki run, give us 11. Possibly. I'm also feeling the same way about Wakatakage that I feel about Kirishima. So close, but he's got so many things working against him. He hasn't been able to put together, this is who Wakatakage is again since the injury. He could have this great tournament now, and then next tournament fall apart. So it's almost like I'll believe it when I see it. It doesn't mean it's not possible, but I'll believe it when I see it. I have no other proof that it's going to happen. Atami Fuji is having an easier go at the lower ranks. Maybe he was just moved up too fast. That and this tape man from the injuries. I think Atami Fuji probably did go up too fast. He might have needed to slowly rise up the rankings like other guys and build up his confidence and build up his skill set. He gets all the way up there but I don't know. Was he ready and it just didn't work out? But sometimes it is a curse to get a fast promotion. Some guys are not ready for it. Most guys are not ready for it. Shishi only has not be the slowest deer. I don't know if I quite understand that because I think there's a typo. Koto Shoho does not want to be outranked by his brother. I am sure of that. What about awesome Shodai? Well, when Shodai is awesome, those are the days that he cares. I don't know why he cares some days and not others, but, there's a former Ozeki in there somewhere. Oho is having issues like Atami Fuji and others once pushed up to the higher ranks. The thing about Oho, though, is that he's been around long enough now that you would hope that he could claim a Sanyaku spot and be Sanyaku. But there's something off about his sumo. I don't know what it is. But he is pretty mangled and injured right now. Maybe that's it. Maybe he gets hurt a lot. I don't know. There's just something lacking in Oho to be a top guy. Like a top guy. Shishi will be saved by weak Juryo. Well, that is a possibility. I could see Kiri making it back, but he's one of those guys whose best 3 basho span was his Ozeki run. Exactly, so he could get to Ozeki and lose it in an instant. The fact that he has a neck injury, we've seen that before. It means unless it can make real improvement, it's only a matter of time before he's hurt again and can't compete at the level he wants to compete at. Waka is about like Daisho, bridesmaid, never the bride. Yeah. And he's really talented, so it's a shame. Like, he has all those different skills that you want to see in a wrestler. And let's compare Wakatakage to Hoshiru for a second. Very similar fighters. But what makes Hoshiru stand out so much more than Wakatakage? It's millimeters. It's millimeters, okay? Hoshiru's gotten a little bit stronger. Maybe a lot stronger. Strength might be one of the big factors. He's gotten all that experience that Wakatakage missed out on when he was injured. Just fighting he's got a year's worth of top division matches at the top as an Ozeki that Waka doesn't have. He's got a determination that he harnesses into winning. A lot of people just sort of look at him as he's angry, he's rude, all these weird things to say about a fighter. Have you seen the MMA guys? Are they smiling and happy when they get into a ring? That's not usually a qualifier for liking a guy as a fighter, but people seem to have a problem with that. Hoshiru has that ability to go the extra level to win that some guys don't even know they have. Like, he can push himself at the brink. These are the things, skill-wise and career-wise, Wakatakage in some ways is not that far from Hoshiru, but in other ways he's miles apart. So he's got to do something. And it's in the training. It's all in the details. It's in the training, who he fights with, like what kind of practice bouts he's getting. And he's got to be able to dig so deep and want this so bad, or he's never going to be an Ozeki. And then you get Ozeki, and that's a whole other thing. Yay, I got Ozeki. Now you get the pressure. Now you got Kadoban over your shoulder all the time. Like, are you ready for that? And that's the thing, right? Promotions into Ozeki and Yokozuna, they're great, right? You've got this great new title. But they're also punishments. Oh, so you want to be the top guy? Well, this is what comes with it. Super pressure. Everyone whispering in your ear. Everybody wanting to take you out. A hair's breadth away from either losing your rank or losing your career. I don't know if Waka has it in him. But we'll see. He will show us as time goes on how badly he wants it. Oho finally gets a win. Everything feels so decided. I don't know what to talk about. That's kind of how I felt. I was writing my notes and they're so small compared to what they usually are. They're usually like 4 or 5 pages, and this time they were only 2 because it's like, we kind of know where this is going, right? So this is your time to talk about the details if you want. Could definitely see Shishi winning Juryo Yusho, but whatever leg injury he has with the taped thigh, we'll see how long it affects him. I feel like a thigh injury isn't usually a serious one, but it's a nagging one. So we will have to see what happens with that. You know, like that saying, the deer don't have to outrun the bear, just outrun the slowest deer. Oh, okay. Yes. Let's brainstorm ways M and J can irritate Goose tomorrow. You know how I can irritate Goose tomorrow. Very simple way. All I have to do is the plug for 42 Opinions. Or I could even call a whole match in that voice. He would be so annoyed. Oh, I don't know if I could do it to him. I can't help but love my Eeyore Shodai. Zero happiness ever. I know, Shodai is lovable. Even in his sadness, he's lovable. Shodai is so real. Shodai is like a real person. These sumo guys go so far beyond what any of us are capable of. And yet Shodai feels like one of us. Clutch wins for Hoshiru over Waka. Definitely hurts that Waka got hurt in his prime, but we've seen guys get second wins in their 30s. If anybody's feeling down on themselves, just look at Terunofuji. That guy should not, in theory, right? And this is another thing about success in sports or anything else. Terunofuji had 2 busted knees, very bad diabetes, cellulitis, and his heart wasn't in it anymore. He wanted to quit. He kept asking to quit. And his stable master would not allow him to quit. So he worked and he worked and he worked, and he came up from the lower division, like even mentally, to have the mental fortitude to go that long when you were once, at the top. Not Yokozuna, but you were Ozeki. He's made of different stuff. You really know a person's character and their ability to succeed in life when you see them at their absolute worst and they don't give up. So Wakatakage could just look at Terunofuji. Terunofuji came back out of nowhere, shoots up to the top to Yokozuna, and then wins 10 Yusho. When his body was still just as broken as it was when he fell down. He won 10 Yusho in that brief period of time. That's all he's got to do. And now maybe he can have a little conversation with him. People are afraid to predict it, but I think Aoi Nishiki has a good shot of being the next Ozeki. Who else is going to do it? Daisho, Wakatakage? I doubt it. I'll go in on that with you. I could see Aoi Nishiki being the next Ozeki. Wakatakage has an outside chance, but it's not looking good right now. I laughed when people said that about Hoshiru angry. Onosato is nice. Teru looks happy. They should see him outside of Sumo. Everyone laughs with Hoshiru. They're all different outside. I might get in trouble for what I'm about to say. But, I mean, that's just so weak. You're watching a combat sport that is very violent and very aggressive. And you don't like Hoshiru because he looks angry and because he's rude. He's a fighter. Stop it. Please stop it. That's all I'm going to say. Teru still looks angry. He doesn't even fight anymore, and he still looks like he wants to hurt somebody. Your personality, I mean, not everybody can bake cookies like Tamawashi, okay? You should have angry guys. They're fighters, for goodness sakes. And Onosato isn't nice. He just has a blank expression on his face. He's the same as anybody else. He's a fighter. Stop it. Just stop it. Yokozuna basically cut Wakanohana's career short. Yeah. Yokozuna's a tough deal, right? So you've outgrown the Ozeki spot. Now you're Yokozuna, but now everything is 20 times harder. And if you fail this time, you're done. So it's a big deal to make it to Yokozuna. You're making a big bet on your life. Hoshiru could have just took his foot off the gas in January and said, you know what? I've done good enough. I'll try again. Now he gutted it out and beat those 3 guys to claim Yokozuna. And now, what does he get for his trouble? This guy stinks. He's the worst Yokozuna that's ever debuted, even though he's only been in Yokozuna for 2 tournaments. Like, here you go. Here's your prize for being Yokozuna. You guys are on for day 13, Sunday morning sumo show. Yes, as far as I know. Every sumo wrestler I've seen outside of competition or practice all have great personalities except a few. Yeah, I love watching the behind the scenes and seeing everybody laughing and making jokes and hanging out with kids and taking pictures with old ladies. Hoshiru was like one of the most personable guys there, and he's way nicer than his uncle. Nobody had a problem with Asa Shoryu, and he was, we know. I just think people are soft now, seriously. How can you be so soft in like a sport like sumo? I don't get it. I think Waka has a better shot at Ozeki than folks give him credit, but yeah, Awa Nishiki could be starting a run in July. I think it's because we've just seen, it's pattern recognition. We've seen this before. We've seen guys that it's like he should be able to do it, and it just doesn't happen. Look at Daisho. I do think Wakatakage being compared to Daisho is appropriate. Even his brother, Wakamoto Haru, he had a couple shots at it. Yeah. Hello, K-Bunny. Nice to see you. I really like Waka, and I'm always pulling for him except against Hoshiru. I like both brothers. Yeah, I like them too. I would like to see them get to Ozeki and break whatever's holding them back. I secretly want Onosato to drop matches just to make it interesting. You know, we all kind of want interesting. No one's necessarily rooting against Onosato. Some might be, but, you know, I want him to be the next Yokozuna, but wouldn't it be great to see him earn it on the last day? It's always, we need the drama. I want Haku Oho to make Sanyaku this year. Skill-wise, he should be able to, but I do worry about injuries. He is always injured. But he's also tough. Maybe he can fight through them. Awa Nishiki or Haku Oho, but there's still too many questions on Haku Oho. The bicep worries me. Yeah, he's got the bicep issue. It could be a tear. He had the shoulder issues. He's so young and he has all these arm problems already. Awa Nishiki, we have gotten a good look at him versus Sanyaku. If he stays healthy, he's going to be Sanyaku in no time, and then he'll be Ozeki. I'm pulling for Haku Oho too, so Coach Miyagino can have something positive. Yeah, fulfill his dream to turn him into Hakuho. But remember when we thought Atami Fuji was a lock for Ozeki, then he stalled hard, same maybe with Takeru Fuji. Precisely my point. It's pattern recognition. We have seen guys that we thought, this guy is surely going to be Ozeki. And then something happens. And it kind of feels like Wakatakage is in that zone. Hoping Kusano will be promising to another Miyagi-No boy. He looks promising right now. He really does. We will see what happens. I can't judge anybody until they're in the top division, because things go terribly wrong when you go from Juryo to Makauchi. Unless you are that top talent. With all the hate from fans, who needs a grouchy uncle? Exactly. You know what, though? It's a part of the deal, right? Hakuho had plenty of people who hated his guts. I'm tired of this. He wins all the time. It's boring. Hakuho stinks. Hakuho's too rough in the Tachiai, which he is. Let's not pretend he wasn't. But like that, he was getting all kinds of hate. That's what it means to be Yokozuna. You have to take on a lot of pressure. And I think Hoshiru can handle it. But it stinks at the same time. You want everyone to be with you on it and be like, wow, he's the greatest. And they're like, no, he sucks. Part of the reason I never trash anyone Rikishi too hard is I start to think, what if I meet this guy at a tour or something and he's really nice to me? Yeah, the truth is, probably most of them would be. I don't rag on any Rikishi. I might get into like, I'm not sure if I believe in their abilities, but, I look at all of them as like the best of the best. Unless they've done something like the man who shall not be named, I'm sort of rooting for everyone. Maybe Hoshiru should wear his glasses to the ring. He looks more soft then. He definitely looks like a scholarly gentleman with the glasses on. But now he's Yokozuna, so he definitely can't. But why he doesn't wear contacts, I don't know. Maybe they don't work right or whatever, but I don't think he can actually see when he's fighting. But who knows? That's a rumor. I don't know for sure. He might be wearing contacts. Because I heard, have you noticed he's not doing the squint so much anymore? And I heard that somebody had a conversation with him about maybe don't do the squint now that you're Yokozuna. And he doesn't seem to be doing it anymore. I always thought it was because he couldn't see. I was always a Tommy Fuji doubter. You can't put that on me. Listen, me and Tommy Fuji have history, okay? Ever since the moment that I don't want to talk about, I've wanted him to succeed, and that was probably his best shot. So that just puts a real dagger in my heart, okay? Someone might pull a Koto Mitsuki and look like a potential Ozeki, then stall for 8 years before getting it in their 30s. Yeah. I mean, we've seen a lot of veterans have these resurgences out of nowhere. Sato no Umi. Nishikigi is probably the best example. I mean, he was up there fighting Teruno Fuji like he was, always there. And then now finally age is catching up to him. But early 30s, yeah, you could have somebody who's not doing so well in their mid-20s, and then all of a sudden they figure it out in their 30s. Hosh versus Ono playoff. Hosh wins and looks good. Ono gets his Yusho equivalent and gets the rope. That's what I would prefer. But I don't know that I'm getting that this time. Maybe I can't ask for too much considering that Hoshiru got the Yokozuna. I mean, he literally gave me what seemed impossible. John had said, hey, there is a scenario in which Hoshiru could pull this off. And I thought, no way. No slight to my guy, but I had my heart broken by Takakesho many a time, and I thought, there's no way Hoshiru is going to pull this off. So maybe I can't be too greedy and ask for that. Ask for another amazing thing again. But, hey, I'd be happy. Atami Fuji is a plush toy come to life. Who cares about rank? Call it the Ura effect. There you go. Yet he doesn't have to reach a certain standard for you to like him. Takeru Fuji worries me with that genetically smaller lower body. He needs to be doing squats every day. His legs don't match his huge upper body. I do agree that his legs do not match his upper body. However, I don't know if squats would help that. I mean, I feel like the guy probably does the best workouts. I gotta tag the weightlifting video. I feel like he knows that. He wouldn't just ignore his legs. He probably just can't get them to match. Some guys can really build up their upper body and not their lower body. It's just what it is. I mean, yeah, the forearms were rough, but fighting is his job. Yeah. And it was legal, although I have to say it was pretty close to, pretty close to cheap when you're knocking a guy out on the Tachi-ai. But it is what it is. A fighter's job is to win, and Hakuho's quote was, somebody asked him what is Yokozuna Sumo, and he said, winning is Yokozuna Sumo. So, I think with Hakuho, we got a clear read on his personality, where he viewed winning as everything. We have not had the time to get acquainted with Onosato's personality beyond serial killer stare. Yeah, Onosato still feels like a blank slate. We know basically nothing about him. We don't know what his passions are. He just wins. And he looks kind of bored. Curious, how do you usually watch the sumo? Abema, Twitch, YouTube videos, NHK? Combination of things. NHK World, they do actually, you can see the current day's match if you watch it live. So they have a schedule. They show it 3 times a day. I like to watch it that way. If I miss it, there are YouTube channels. Onosato is just some talented dude. Yeah, that's all it takes. If you're a talented dude, all the power to you. Maybe he got laser surgery. He might have. I feel like laser eye surgery and contact sports don't mix. Possibly. Squinting isn't good for you. It's probably good advice for Hoshiru to stop doing that. Yeah, he was squinting his whole career. Not exactly sure what was going on with that. Yeah, you're probably right. John Jones has bird legs too, and he squats a ton of weight. Yeah, it's like Takikeisho being shorter than everybody with short arms. You have the body you have, and you do what you can. So this is Takeru Fuji's cross, so to speak. My sister must have known something when she latched on a Hoshiru in the first basho she followed. LOL. My sumo fandom has been molded by pain and the fires of Kyujo and Intai. Yeah. When I watched the Sumo Salon video, it brought me back to that agonizing couple of months where I knew Takikeisho was about to retire, and then when he did retire, man, I have never felt so sad and depressed over somebody I did not know at all than I did in that moment. And then thankfully Hoshiru started doing his thing, so I could just sort of focus on that. But watching the Sumo Salon brought all that pain back. Oh, I needed a minute. I wasn't expecting the tribute at the end. I'm like, no, you can't do this to me, man. Because he's telling the whole story with this big smile on his face, and that almost made it more painful. So, anyway, never going to be another Takikeisho. I feel strongly about it because no one ever gave Takayasu any flack for doing it. Very true. Very good point. They just don't like Hakuho. That's it. And when we all do this, right? We've decided we don't like somebody for whatever reason. And then we point out every single one of their flaws and we ignore everybody else's flaws. Everybody else can do that, but not that guy because that's the guy I don't like. We're so hypocritical in nature. We can't help ourselves. That's why I try not to dislike anyone. It's not that I don't dislike some people. But even the people I dislike, I try to say, okay, A, there's somebody who does like them. B, I don't know everything about this person. And C, I just don't want to be unfair. And I don't want to be a hypocrite. So just try really, really hard to keep certain things in mind about every person I encounter. We not ever know anything about Onosato given how little we knew about Kisa Onosato before his retirement. People used to think he was boring. That is true. Onosato's kind of like a clone of Kisa Onosato personality-wise. That's very interesting. He's like the perfect wrestler for him. Didn't we see Hosh lose a contact in the last basho? I did not notice that. Okay. I need to go back and look at that because that would answer the question. Free Miyagi-No. Free Miyagi-No. I keep saying it, but they aren't listening. It's really sad for the goat. The punishment doesn't fit the crime. Let me just say this. Guys, don't be surprised if Hakuho doesn't walk out of sumo. Just don't be surprised. I hope against hope that it doesn't happen, but I've been thinking about this a lot. Let's say they give him back his stable. They're just going to look for the next thing and the next thing, and they're never going to stop hounding him. And I think that Hakuho is just so... He's too big of a personality to fit into the system. There's always going to be tension there. And look at what happened to Takanohana. He never made it. He was trying to make big moves behind the scenes and do stuff that, young guys don't usually do. Like get into power positions that young guys don't usually get into. And they crushed him out. They made him walk away. He didn't deserve what he got either. He was the one whose Rikishi got hurt. And it was Hakuho who was behind it. So, don't be surprised. I know nothing of the future, but I will not be surprised if he walks away. Have you seen Hitoshi Injurio, huge black eye, using tape to keep it open? Rumors among Japanese are that he has a detached retina or an orbital bone fracture. Oh my goodness. That's, ugh, I don't want to think about that. Injuries with the eye, ugh, creep me out. Or maybe it was January. He was picking it off his cheek. Oh, okay. I'll have to go back. Onosato was clowning on guys in University Sumo. Watched him come up for years before Grand Sumo. He's always looked bored and like he's outclasses everyone. He does come across to me like the bored genius, that trope that they always have in anime where he's just so good at it that it's boring. And, you know, there's something to like about that to some degree. Like, to root for a guy who's just so good to do good things. But it doesn't resonate with me, so I just can't connect to him. I wish him the best. I hope he becomes Yokozuna, but he's just not my type of guy. I mean, after like someone like Takakesho, I need passionate wrestlers to follow. You don't get much more passionate than him. And that's why he broke my heart. I understand why Hoshiru and Nishikigi might not want to wear contacts. They can be pretty uncomfortable if you aren't used to them. Yeah, I do wear contacts to spar if I know we're going to spar, but a lot of times I don't know when we are. So I just spar blind. Because contacts, I don't like how they feel in my eyes, and I don't feel like I see that well. I actually feel like I see better in glasses, so I am always sparring blind. It kind of sucks. But hey, you learn to feel what's going on. But I'm very blind without my glasses, so yeah, I am sparring blind. Monster says, Maria getting deep. No reason to not get deep psychological, or philosophical in this case. Philosophical pinings. I am a writer after all. Suffering from success. Shonan Umi is big, but he is not as skilled as other Rikishis. Yeah, I mean, he's this giant man who pulls. It just doesn't make sense to me. It seems like a contradiction. He should be able to, like, run guys out of the ring, but instead he's always going backwards, and it's just not working. Kisana Sato had mastered the bored face. Yeah, but tell me he didn't look like he was about to cry after that Takakesho tribute. That was the first time I saw emotion from that man. I pull for Hoshiru, but that doesn't make me hate Onosato or lie about how good Onosato is. I don't understand those who have to hate the other guy no matter what. It's just that team mentality thing. I don't understand it either. Like, everything in life, especially these days, seems to be you've got to pick this or this. And if you like this, then you can't like this. And there's some sort of moral value to liking the one guy or the other. It somehow boosts you because you picked Onosato and he's better than Hoshiru. It's bizarre. It must be influenced by the internet. I think you can root for everyone. You can't when they're fighting each other. But like, because Yokozuna isn't a one slot deal, you don't have to go for one guy over the other. You can root for them both. That's the nice collectiveness about sumo. I don't think Hakuho would ever let Hokuseiho's situation happen again. I don't either. I think he learned his lesson from it, but I think that they just don't like him. I think they're worried about him getting power, and that's a threat to them in this collective way of things, and I don't know. I got a bad feeling, guys. I just think Shonan Umi is limited by long-term physical problems. We've talked about it before. That's how a lot of salaryman wrestlers are. Yeah, never count that out. It's got to be embarrassing to Hakuho to hear some people wanting to give his stable to the former Junior Teru. There's bad blood between those two also. Now, consider this. There was the Mongolian thing that's existed for a long time, and it was Hakuho, Kakuryu, and Hadamafuji. Ichinojo was one of the Mongolians. He's out. He's not in the club. We don't like him. And Hakuho, he treated him so disrespectfully. I don't know the reason he didn't like him. Maybe he had a valid reason. Maybe he didn't. But there was a club. And Teru wasn't in the club either. I don't know what he did. It's probably just because Terunofuji and Hakuho, they're both like alpha, oil and water type people. So how are they going to be a club? So yeah, there's no way Hakuho, if they say that Hakuho has to be under Teru, it's never going to happen, guys. He's too prideful for that. He will not. They will have to offer him something big to do that, and I just don't think he can do it. You mean Isegahama? Hakuho was never meant to inherit, though. No, but he's still under Isegahama. So when Terunofuji takes it over, Hakuho would be under Terunofuji. It's never going to happen. Nope. I feel that one. Lost my eye to a bomb. Man, that sucks to hear. Very sorry about that, Army. That's just... Ugh. Hopefully Hakuho bans bug spray, glue, and lighters from his stable if it reopens. There'll be a big sign. I wouldn't be surprised if Hakuho ends up essentially forced out, be it for another bullying scandal or something more petty and random. That's what I'm saying. Even if he gets a stable back, they're still gunning for him. I don't think the two things can exist together. I don't think somebody as big and independent and full of life as Hakuho can fit under the thumb of the Sumo Association. I just don't see it working. I think he has to go off on his own. And he's well connected. It may not be a bad thing for him. There are so many people that like him, especially internationally, that would go to bat for him, and he might end up being much happier. Like, maybe he doesn't want to be with these guys anymore. And that's not even to say that I'm not placing right or wrong on this, because I believe that Hakuho is probably a difficult personality. I've told you. I've seen how he treated Takikeisho. I've seen how he treated Ichinojo. I seen the Tako no Hana thing. Like, that was all spurred on by Hakuho. So he's not an innocent sheep, but at the same time, they are going way too far. They're definitely doing things to him that are not right. I mean, because you're not holding other guys to the same standard. But I just don't see it. I don't see them working together. I don't know. Shonana Umi is putting in so much effort. Maybe the second best double-digit Makikoshi after Yu Takayama's Joy debut. Well, that's all any of us can ask, is just put in the effort and someday you get rewarded. Wouldn't it be so hype if Hakuoho beats Onosato tonight? I can dream, but I think Hakuoho is going to get blasted out. I'm with you. I would love it if Hakuoho beat Onosato tonight, but he's probably going to get destroyed. Per Chris Sumo, some of the people running Sumo are pushing for him to never get it back and let Teru take his guys. Ugh. Yikes. I think we'll wait and see what happens after Isegahama retires. I do think it's completely up in the air. There's so many things that could happen in the next couple months. Well, actually, doesn't Isegahama retire this month, though? Nothing is determined until we see something official. We need a multiple Yokozuna era where everyone can get behind someone at the top, like in the World Series or Super Bowl, where everyone has a reason to root for one side or root against the other. I agree. Let's get Onosato. Let's get Hoshiru. Let's get Aonishiki, because he looks like he's the next best thing. Maybe Kusano becomes the next best thing. I'm not feeling a lot of potential Yokozuna guys. I'd love for it to be Kotozakura. I just don't know if he can do it. I think he's too injured. And he can't take a break because of the cursed Ozeki ranking system and no protection for injuries. If he can't rest the knee, what if the knee needs surgery? He's done for. Like, without injury protection, there's nothing Kotozakura can do if that's a major knee situation. The Hakakus of the association are more interested in maintaining their control than doing what would be financially successful for sumo. Yes, but remember, there's very much a cultural component to this. This is how things are run in Japan, like all industries, the businesses, the government, sports, even small entities, for better or for worse. This collective, like, let's get our group and let's keep everybody in line. That whole, the raised nail gets hammered down is in effect here. And Hakuho, even though he is, he's a Japanese citizen now, and he's been in Japan longer than he was in Mongolia, he still isn't ethnically Japanese, and I think it's hard to fit into that situation. Like, if I went over to Japan and I became Japanese, I would still struggle with it, because I've been American, and we don't do things this way. So, two things can be true at once. Maybe the Sumo Association isn't being fair. Maybe Hakuho deserves some of it, but not all of it. But also, maybe they're just not a good fit. Maybe that's always been the truth. Without compromise, it's like having a really bad job. And while you love the work itself, you just can't deal with the management and you're better off somewhere else. I really feel like that's the scenario we're in. I think Hakuho didn't like Ichinojo because he was a hotshot youngster that didn't reach the heights that Hakuho thought he was capable of. Could definitely see that being the possibility. Maybe they should see videos of Hosh uncle slap around a young Hakuho. That's just how it's always been. He sees Taro as a rival. Yeah. Well, and everyone gets hazed in sumo. True. And I'm sure it's still going on, but it's not the way it was in the Hakuho days. They're definitely not doing the same things that they used to. In some cases, in some places, yes, but overall, it was so acceptable in Hakuho's day. Now you get in trouble, so it's different. I wonder how Hakuho feels about Hokuseiho now. No clue. No clue at all how Hakuho feels about him. I think Haikaku could care less about the good of sumo. He's retiring, so the lack of recruits possibly alienated by his actions isn't his problem anymore. You do hit a point in your life when you're him where you've held on to something so long and it's about to get out of your grasp and you just can't move past it. I think he's holding on to the power he has for dear life. It's what he's known. He knows nothing different. He sees Hakuho as a threat, and it is what it is. It's a toxic situation for all parties involved. I agree Hakuho is a bit of a head case himself, but it's hard not to feel like he's being treated unfairly. I completely agree with that. I mean, Hakuho is the greatest of all time in sumo. That should mean something. They shouldn't be, just piling on him like they are and then ignoring other people's stuff. It is unfair. But like I said, I just don't think they were ever meant to be the two group. Like, I don't see him fitting in with the group. And I'm not faulting him for that. Sometimes reality just sucks. Issei Gahama retires in July. Oh, okay. We've never had 3 countries represented at Yokozuna at the same time. Oh, interesting. Japan, Mongolia, Ukraine. That could be cool. Sumo doesn't help itself with the whole once you leave the JSA, you can never come back rule. Yeah, there's a lot of traditional rules that hurt the sport. Seems like Japan is very my way or the highway. Yes, and it's tough, right? Because on one hand, it's just goes against our sensibilities because we're not Japanese, and there's some fair criticism of it. On the other hand, it's the tradition that makes us like sumo. If they just change tomorrow and they're like, we're going to make this a totally different process, we might not like the quality of sumo. We might not like the way that the sumo looks. To some degree, the Japaneseness of sumo is what we like. So there's good that comes with bad. Like every other culture, like every other thing. It's hard for me to place any sort of this is good and this is bad, even though there's truth to it. I feel like it's also nuanced. I can understand Hakuho didn't report it to protect a fellow Mongolian, plus let's not kid ourselves, this has happened since, and nobody's gotten punished except the wrestler and not the coach. Yeah, I mean, they definitely looked for an excuse to go after him. Doesn't help that Hokuseiho was doing really horrible things, but at the same time, they did look for a reason. And it does make you wonder, like, how did Hakuho not know what was happening? But it's just a mess. The whole situation's a mess. To me, it seemed more like Hakuho was a bit too hands-off as a coach, more of a negligence thing. I agree. And that also makes me question, does he really want to be a coach? Would he rather do some other part of sumo? Now, it's tough because JSA says you're a coach or you're out of sumo. But there are other things that he can do, and maybe that's better for him. I don't know. It happened to Issei Gahama himself, and he got demoted too. He got demoted, but he didn't lose his stable. Didn't we just have a certain sumo wrestler get caught abusing teammates and the coach didn't get punished? Yeah. Army says he didn't lose his stable. Issei Gahama had 2 bullying scandals and got demoted among the elder ranks. Same with Kasugano and Kisei, who had his stable taken away, then given back pretty quickly. That's still not the same thing as nobody got punished. The level of punishment has... When you don't have a standard and it's just you can decide in the moment who gets what, you will always feel that something is unfair. And maybe it is. But they don't have any standards for how you handle each thing. It's like, it's a case-by-case basis. We'll be talking about the fall if Hakuho gets forced out for years. It will put a big black mark on the sport. No question. Bob, that's correct, but if you haven't even heard the effort to give his back, you heard the opposite of closing it permanently. The JSA is so secretive. I feel like wrestlers and coaches get punished for bullying, but we don't know about it because the news never leaves JSA. Yeah, it's a big club, guys. Yeah, as many complaints as I can give, the mindset of the sumo brass is part of what makes sumo distinctive from other sports. Yeah, it's the good with the bad. There can be things that happen that are not good, but at the same time, if you took away its Japanese-ness, it's not the same sport anymore. So, I don't know. Like, I don't want to see this happen to Hakuho. I want them to work this out, but it's not looking good in my opinion. However, like, I'm super, super behind Takekeisho. So that's who I end up focusing on. Like, I want to see if he can raise up the Rikishi that he wants to raise up. Now, if they do something to Takekeisho, we have a different conversation. My opinion is that he has served a long enough penalty. Mitch thinks that he should serve the penalty till 2026 because I guess that was a precedent set by another Oyakata who got into a similar situation. So, once again, because not everybody gets the same penalty, it's hard to tell what's fair and what's not fair. I think Tobizaru's scandal was the most recent bullying thing, so definitely not punished. He got some sort of punishment, but I don't know what it was. It's about the unequal punishment. There are some stables where the main coach has an office job in the JSA, PR, tour duty, sumo school, Ayakata channel, so the auxiliary coaches essentially run the stable. Ah, interesting. Yeah, let's not get upset. I'm not even going to read all these comments. I've been in this situation before where a couple people were having a disagreement and I didn't read the comments properly and then I got in trouble somehow. So nobody get mad at me. You guys can have your differences in the comment section, which is fine. Look, this is a nuanced situation. And multiple things are true at the same time. And it's a very passionate situation too. Because Hakuho, like I said, is the greatest of all time. And to lose him would be a tragedy. And there are things that the JSA do that are really not understandable because of their secrecy. And also the lack of standard. But maybe we just need to wait and see what happens. You see? You guys ran out of chat, so I started talking about this. And now we're going way off track. I'm not even going to read all these comments because it's getting a little heated for my tastes. We don't have to fight each other. We will never get mad at you. You are like the Oyakata 42 opinion stable. I try to be. I haven't been following the argument at all. I'm just talking to Maria. Yes. Monster's comment was, the punishment was public embarrassment. Now everyone knows he made his assistant buy pantsu. That's true. They really did humiliate Tobizaru. And the truth of the matter is, embarrassment in Japan, it's pretty high up there for punishment. Is John the hairdresser? I gotta ask John that. When we see John next, we'll ask him on the recap show. Be like, so John, what is your role in this 42 Opinions stable. I could see him being the hairdresser. It's funny because the first time we ever did a live stream, we tried to do it on the recap show, and that was a disaster because we have these long, detailed notes that are pages long for every wrestler. And so we're trying to read our notes, plus we go off the fly. So we have these points, like these are the points that we want to talk about, but then we've got in our head what happened. So we'll look at the point and then we just talk. But then we had the comments section on top of it all. I'm like, this is going to be a 4-hour show if we read everybody's comments. And as much as I love the idea of being an epic movie, most people aren't going to listen to it. So I thought to myself, well, people did enjoy the live chat, so maybe I got to just start doing live streams. So that's how we got where we are. What about the new young hotshot? Who's the new young hotshot? Seems to me like the Japanese fans have already forgotten about the Tobizaru thing if their interactions with him on tour are any indication. Yeah, I think it kind of got... I think they just let him get embarrassed and they're like moved on. Social embarrassment is a powerful force worldwide with the very internet influence world we live in. Oh, yes. It's like the... what's the old punishment where they would put you in the town square all like under the boards or whatever and people could just walk by and laugh at you and throw eggs at you? Yeah, that's what the internet is now. It's the same thing with every sport. Athletes have scandals and people forget them if they're good enough. They forget them if they're good enough or they forget them if they like the person. Would not mind a 4-hour show. Well, if we get to 1,000 subscribers, I do promise to do a super long show. But we're just eking along. I think we're at 690 now, which is nice. We have to get several hundred for me to do a crazy long show. Watch Jurio for the first time today. Is Mitake Yumi putting on weight? Oh, interesting. That's not good for him. What about the new young star? I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Kusano? Yes. Kusano is definitely poised to make a splash in the top division. I'm looking forward to that. I wish I was talking to the Japanese fans right now so I didn't have to deal with this argument. What's tough about the Japanese fans, this is what I heard, when they're on the internet, they're brutal because they're anonymous. So they say whatever they want to say. So you might not like, they might really go at you. They might be worse than the Americans online. But in person, you'd be talking to them and they'd just kind of nod their head and be super polite to you. So depends on which way you want to talk to them. Kusano is correct, 100%. Kusano reminds me a little bit of Onosato in the size department. He is smaller, but he's got a similar type frame. But he is very good fighter. Like, does a lot of different things. I'm looking forward to seeing more matches. Mitake Yumi seems the same, just deflated. He has a lot less pride now. Poor Mitake Yumi. I mean, he was career Sanyaku. He was where Daisho is now. He had that Sekiwake spot on lock. And he just kept trying for Ozeki and trying. And it's only a matter of time. And he finally gets it. And it all falls apart for him. His whole career falls apart. And in that time, he lost his father. Which must have been absolutely devastating for him. And, you know, it all just came together for some pretty bad years of his life and career. And this does happen, unfortunately. They seem like supermen out there, but they are human beings like the rest of us. And my Filipino wife is sad about him. So, is Mitake Yumi and Takayasu, like, really known in the Philippines? Or is it just because you're a sumo fan? I always wondered that. I'm like, you know, because in Georgia, Tochinoshin is like the greatest guy ever because it's a small country. So to have a top star like that is a big deal. I wondered if the Philippines was the same way about Mitake Yumi and Takayasu or if they don't really pay attention to sumo. So many athletes literally commit crimes, but fans forgive them then almost immediately because they want to keep playing. Yep. This is that same hypocrisy thing I was talking to you about. And I can't say that I don't do the same thing. Now, it depends on the crime, of course. But, You're like, oh, it's okay that he did that. I mean, he's sorry. I just want to see him play. It's terrible. It's a terrible habit. She lived in Japan and speaks Japanese. Oh, okay. So she's a sumo fan. You're a sumo fan. We have no idea about the Philippines. I actually have some Filipino relatives as well, and none of them know sumo. So I'm like, is it just my family, or... Because they haven't been in the Philippines for a while now. So I don't know if it's just my family is just out of the loop, or if they don't care in the Philippines. She went to Japan to work in her 20s, and her cousin is married to a Japanese guy. Ah, cool. Very cool. This has been a very interesting live stream for sure. We got to talking about everything except for the race here at the end, because there's not much to say about it. Apparently, Futa Goyama had to block comments in the Sumo Food channel because Japanese fans were too critical of the lower wrestlers. I did hear about that. That's something about American sports that I hate, where guys who did terrible things are still allowed to play. Do you know about the Trevor Bauer situation? No. See, I don't watch any American sports anymore. So now I'm totally out of the loop for scandals. I used to be a big sports fan, but just a lot of things soured me, so I only watch sumo now. I'm never fronting. I just stay detached as much as I can, and everything is great. Yeah, it's a pretty good defense, because there's a lot of things that could get you. No, there are a few Filipino YouTubers covering sumo sometimes. Ah, very cool. I should send my family to watch those. I heard about that too, Mega Monster. Yeah. I don't want to hear it. We hear enough about sumo scandals. I know, they're so sad, aren't they? Yeah, some stables actually got rid of their YouTube channels because they didn't want to deal with the comments. Comment sections are rough. Ours aren't too bad, because usually someone will come in and say something crazy, and I will respond with like a paragraph long, but I'll be super nice about it, and they never come back. The biggest scandal in international sport right now is Manchester United. Just watch sumo. Sumo just makes it easy. I know they got stuff going on behind the scenes, but everybody does, so I have found sumo to be the least dramatic of all the sports, and that's the only sport I watch now. I do miss hockey. I just felt like there was too much there too, so I'll catch it every once in a while. Baseball, too much drama. Never was a football fan. I should like it in theory, but I just can't get into it. I used to play baseball. That's why I like baseball so much. Some people are like, oh, it's boring. I do not think baseball is boring at all. Let's get sumo to America after England. I agree. There's a couple of places where sumo would be very welcome. It's California, New York City, Texas. They got big sumo communities there. I had to switch to Liverpool when Fenway Sports bought them. I don't know anything about Fenway Sports buying them. All right, guys. I'm already starting to get ready to leave this live stream. We've had a fun 3 nights of this. I'll be getting up super early in the morning. Friday morning. I don't even know what time it's supposed to be now because, we have daylight savings time. I don't know if Australia does or not. I don't think Japan does. Yeah, Japan does not have daylight savings time. So I think it's 4 in the morning. MLB still lets people play who are guilty of what Bauer supposedly, but not him. I'm detached. Trevor Bauer washed over me like the rushing river. I might look this up, but I don't know if I want to. Maria, like and subscribe. Okay, I will do the plug. Let me just think of something good. It's so hard because it's late. Japan just had daylight. I didn't think they had daylight savings time. Okay. Oh, Japan just has daylight. Got it. Okay, let's get ready for the plug. Hi, everyone. You're listening to 42 Opinions Sumo. If you like sumo, you should be watching this page. If you don't like sumo, well, you should still be watching this page anyway. So please like, comment, and subscribe, and you'll have fun. It's fun when you all share the same brain cell. Okay, guys, how was that plug? I'm always trying to come up with something just a little bit new. I still haven't posted I recorded myself doing Doofenshmirtch, talking to Perry the Platypus. It's hilarious. But I want to get a really good video to go with it, so I haven't put it in as our short yet. The plug makes me feel attached. So who dares me to do that voice on the Sunday morning sumo show and send Goose into a violent rage? I feel like I gotta do it. Oh, I really feel like I gotta do it. Enjoy talking to everyone, even the mini argument. Yeah, I mean, we're all good in here. We can have disagreements, but we're all good. I like the face, Tim. Curse you, Perry the Platypus! That's my favorite line. Live stream officially liked. Great plug. Thank you, my friend. Do it. Okay, I'll do it. Hopefully he's not listening to this. He hasn't been listening lately, I don't think. So hopefully he does not listen to this live stream and doesn't see it coming, because that will make it hilarious. Kaliwali, I finally made it at the start. Were you here this whole time? Violent Rage Goose is the most entertaining Goose. I feel that when he is the most genuine. I agree. Yeah, Callie, actually, it's not at the start. We are at the end. Unfortunately. I am about to end the stream for the night. I appreciate all the hearts that are coming my way right now. Oh, Callie, I'm sorry. We're just ending. Not just starting. Japan doesn't do late savings time. That's what I thought. Onosato and Hoshiru Yokozuna next Basho. Most likely that'll be cool. I'm looking forward to it. Goose isn't a real fan. Big L for him. Isn't a real fan of 42 Opinions or isn't a real fan of sumo? I know. I feel bad. 42 is avoiding Callie, sob. I'm not avoiding Callie at all. I feel bad. I feel like I need to talk for a few more minutes because Callie just got here. There's always a couple of people coming at the end, always. Yeah, it feels personal now. I'm personally trying to stay on here just so that you can have a few more minutes because I feel bad. So I'll stay on for 5 more minutes, but people have to bring up a topic. And don't bring up a 20-minute topic because I'm tired. Wage war on 42. Goose drops a lot of shade on 42 Opinions, and he thinks I don't catch it, but I catch it every time. And you know what? I don't care. Now you have to talk for another hour. I don't know if I can do an hour. I can talk for another 5 minutes. Everybody's always trying to get you to be something else that they want you to be. Like, oh, if you're doing a sumo channel, you need to be obsessed with the technique and all this other stuff. Well, no, I can do what I want. So I'll do what I want. Callie says, it's okay. I'll watch the DVD replay. Hey, I am thinking about doing the Sumo Salon live stream. Hopefully it doesn't get pulled down for copyright. It shouldn't. It's a free video. I would just be going to the website. But I think that would be fun. Quick, Callie, give her like 50 questions. How many push-ups can you do? I really stink at push-ups, but, obviously karate has forced me, and we have to do push-ups every single class, and then some classes, you'll work out the whole time, and they're like, okay, now we're doing 50 push-ups at the end of class. So I'd say I can probably do 15 decently. Maybe 20? Do you think it's better for people to go to college first before joining sumo? That really It's a really tough one. I mean, I think it's probably better for your long-term life to get a college degree, and for your sumo life, like in Takikeisho's case, I think he even dropped out of high school and went right into sumo. He knew he was going to have a short career. So that was probably better for him. If he did college, he probably would have never made ozeki. So I think it really depends on the person and what they're going for. I do think there's good analytical talk here. That's why I like these streams. There definitely is good analytical talk here. I don't know. I never know what's really going on with Goose. I don't know if he's joking. I don't know. He's an interesting guy, right? Haven't done a whole anime thing yet. I haven't. Question, who has changed their Mawashi color that you didn't like? Like, they should have kept their old one. For me, I like the old Kotozakura. God, there was a bunch, and now I'm struggling to remember in the moment. I liked Endo's gold Mawashi a lot better. I liked, somebody had red and changed out of red. When people change out of the red, I don't like it. Red is like my favorite Mawashi color. And give me some names of people who've changed their Mawashi, and I'll tell you. Because I can't think of them off the top of my head. What is the likelihood we have a new European ozeki one day? Anyone's thoughts? I think it might be a cycle before, like maybe 5 or 10 years before we start to see even a possibility of that. I don't like Kotozakura with black. I agree. I think that might be a good one. I liked the light blue. Old Koto mint Mawashi was so great. Yeah, it was like bluish mint. Kotozakura Miku hair Mawashi was so cute. Glad to see Midori back in Midori. Yeah, it was a little strange for Midori Fuji. Hoshin, that old deep red was fantastic. I agree. As a Yokozuna, he has to change to the black or the gray. I mean, he doesn't have to, but it's the way you should do it. But I loved Hoshiru in the red. Much more his color. Sekitori is unlikely for most people, so they should prepare for the worst and get a safety net. Macha Mawashi is part of what made Kotozakura my favorite. Yeah. See, the Mawashi is a reason people choose guys. I first chose Takikeisho because he had my favorite color, purple Mawashi. I loved that purple Mawashi. It was difficult. When he advanced to ozeki, I understood the need to switch to black and gray, but I missed the purple so much. Hokuto Fuji's parents wanted him to go to college. He could have gotten Makushita Tsukidashi, but stuck it out in college for the degree to make his parents happy. In the long term, that's probably a better move, but maybe not necessarily in your sumo career. It just depends. Hosh Red was great. Hakuho used to be blue. I liked him with brown. Tamawashi changed his a while back. Takayasu did change, didn't he? He was... I don't know what he is right now, but he was red, and I liked him in red. Koto Eko had the nicest Mawashi. Yeah, he had that light purple. That was pretty sweet. Wakatakage changes sometimes. Yeah, he was blue. See, I'm struggling to remember what anybody's is right now. Koto, I like the original. Didn't Takayasu used to have a red one? Yes. I like Takayasu in the red. Abi had red before his suspension, I think. And he also had a purple for it. Yeah, see, there's a bunch of guys who were in red that are not in red anymore, and Abi was one of them. Ura loses the pink, we have a problem. He's never losing the pink. Everybody knows he has to stay in pink. People will uproar. There will be riots in the streets. Going the other way, I never liked Asanoyama in black. For me, green made him likable. Yeah. Ura can never change, no way. It's been written to the sumo bylaws. It's literally illegal. Ichigo Yamamoto has changed in the past, yes. Elise agrees that Ura cannot lose the pink. If there's ever another pink Mawashi guy, he'll make me think of Ura when I see him. There'll probably never be another pink Mawashi guy. It is strictly an Ura thing. Imagine someone with a highlighter green or orange. Somebody had green. Was it Chiyomaru? I think it was Chiyomaru. It was so light it glowed on the cameras. Great color for a prize fighter. Yeah, I mean the colors. There's technically some sort of rule that you're not supposed to wear all the colors. And something changed and now they all wear the colors. but it was supposed to be like you can only be black or gray. As far as anime, you guys might be surprised to hear this, but I like all kinds of anime. So right now I'm actually watching Fruits Basket, the new one, and I love it. Oh, I love it. Butterball Kaio with the butter color needs to change. Yeah, it's a bit of a clash. Chiyomaru had Shrek Green, another classic Moashi. Ura's smile and positivity is infectious. Everything about Ura is just perfection. Is there someone new with a chicken yellow, right? It looks cool. I think that's Kaio. I love Kaio looking like a little round sun. He really does look like a little round sun. They wear the colors because it's cooler. That's all the reason there need to be. Oh, I completely agree. What a smart move to ignore the rule there and say, no, we're wearing the colors. Particularly Ura. Pink is not allowed. Ura is allowed to do whatever he wants. There was a wrestler in the early 2000s, Asanawako, who was flamboyant with the huge salt throws and Ura-like tactics with a yellow Moashi. Got hammered down by the JSA, lost his mojo, and went to Juryo. That's a sad story. I like Kaio's yellow. Gotta cheer for Kaio then. I'll say this. He stands out. Might another color be better for his skin tone? Perhaps. But you know what? I'm not against it. I like Kaio's too. He's my sunshine from Okinawa. I like it. Yes, so I'm watching Fruits Basket for anime and I'm playing Alan Wake for video games. That's the off-topic stuff. Oh yeah, I was going to tell you guys what we were playing in the video game book club, but now I can't remember anything. I just remember we played Psychonauts. And what else did we play? It's escaping my mind. I was going to write it down. I'd like a change from the yellow for Kaio. I like what I'm seeing of him, though. Yeah, if he changes, he might lose all of his sumo spirit. Kaio in tomato red is the best. I'd like to see that. See, the red is my favorite color. And any guy who's wearing red who changes out of red, it hurts my heart. So I'm a fan of red sumos. Ura insists his Moashi's cherry blossom colored sounds more professional than pink. Well, there actually was long ago, and it might still be out there. When Ura was coming up the ranks the second time, they showed him getting his Moashi handmade. And they did choose the color Sakura. It was called Sakura. It wasn't pink. It was called Sakura. So yes, he commissioned to have a cherry blossom colored Moashi. It was a very cool little special that they showed. Tomokaze in the light purple is nice too. Oh, I haven't seen him in the light purple. Is white allowed? I like silky white. I don't think white is allowed because they wear it in practice. The top guys wear it in practice. I think Psychonauts is good, but a little overblown by people. It was decent. I liked it. Yes, it's in Sumopedia in the Moashi episode. Yes, that is it. So if there's still old Sumopedia, sometimes if you watch NHK Live, you will see the Sumopedia pop up and you will see the Moashi episode. They still play the old episodes. I don't know if it's on the on-demand or not. I'm cruising here through they have like an analytical wave of how many people were watching. We've had a nice steady number here. Even in this late hour, we're going late, guys. You can thank Kaliwali for that. There have been silver Mawashis that border on white, but not quite white. Yeah, I think there's probably something against white. They're all on the NHK website. Okay. I'm going to post it. I'm going to find it, and I'm going to post it in the post section. Silver does sound nice. Silver is nice, but it doesn't stand out as much as the red. Like a lot of games that push boundaries, it's not necessarily as deep as it likes to think it is, but they're important for artists for encouraging creative freedom. That's very well put, Monster. Good night, everyone. Have a good rest of the week. Good night, Army. We were going to end 5 minutes ago, but like I said, Kaliwali kept us here, which is good for all of you. And good for me, except now I'm tired. I probably won't stay on much longer. I want to try to remember the other games that we played, and I can't. My brain does not want to think. I feel like I need to look it up. Good night, Army. May you dream of Kimboshi and Kachikoshi. I like it. I'm trying to look up the video game. Can't remember the name of it at all. It's an old game. All the games we've been playing are old. Now I feel guilty. No, you don't have to feel guilty. There's no guilt here. No guilt. They're asking questions that I'll answer. Have I seen My Hero Vigilantes yet? No. I'm hesitant. Gotta go, y'all. See you tomorrow then. I'm so sorry. I was joking. It was like a good thing. I was saying, yeah, Kaliwali's keeping us here. No need for guilt. I'm just having a good time. I recommend to be Hero X for a TV show. It's Danhua, which is Chinese anime. I'll look into that. I heard of Hero X. Might watch it after my rewatch of Wakfu. Oh, by the way, so far cancer-free after surgery. That is amazing, wonderful news. Thank you for sharing that, and I hope that continues to be the case, because I was definitely concerned, so thank you for letting us know. To be Hero X is top tier so far. Vigilantes is good. So Vigilantes is good. All right. Sometimes I get hesitant because I really like My Hero, and it's like spin-off. Had prostate surgery, and so far so good. That is very good news, Army. Very, very happy for you. I feel like if I described the video games, maybe you guys would know them because they were well known, but I can't even describe them now. I have the song in my head, but not the game. Hot Bob Gob says, let's go Army. Game with... It's not giving me what I want. Yeah, it's too late and I'm too tired to actually be able to even describe the games. They were classic games of the past. Woohoo, Army, says Elise. Minecraft. What about Minecraft? You should watch Wakfu, a little more geared towards teens, and it's French, but has two of the best villains in any show I've ever seen. Interesting. My students are flabbergasted when I told them I've never played Minecraft. I've never played Minecraft myself. I've seen it played, but I've never played it because, believe it or not, I'm not a big video game person. I like certain types of games. No, it's not the game I'm talking about. It's an old game. It has like, it's really dark and there's like reaping of souls and there's, Norse mythology in it. Like Loki's in it, and I just cannot think of the name of it. It's killing me. Like a few streams ago, we were talking about 100 Lion. I have similar thoughts on that. Impressive sometimes, but some of the controversial stuff can feel extraneous. Don't mean that as an insult. Just say chicken jockey to be fine. Please say chicken jockey. No. I guess I'm saying it, but the song is really dumb. I'm sorry. The song is extremely dumb. It drives me crazy. Say chicken jockey in the plug voice. Oh my God. Okay, fine. Chicken jockey. What a nonsensical thing that Minecraft has created. Yeah, I'm not a video game person. I'm a video game socialization person. So if it's like, we're going to do a group game, fine. Or are we going to play a visual novel? Or I like side scrollers. I'll play old games like on the Super Nintendo. I like Donkey Kong Country 2. Have you seen Farron yet? No, but I put it in my queue. We just gained like 10 viewers when you said that. That's funny. Is that what I have to do? Do I have to put chicken jockey in the, the tags for searching? Maybe I should do that. Oh, do a VN. You have the voice for it. What's a VN? Now YouTube is going to suggest this channel to everyone. Only if I put it in the tags. I haven't gone out of my way to do a bunch of routes in 100 line yet. Yeah, I forgot about 100 line. I really need to get into that. But I got to get through Alan Wake first. Such a good game. I recommend it. You dare me? You dare me to put chicken jockey in the tags? Oh, goodness gracious. Who knows what kind of fans we'll get. Oh, yeah. Hoshiru just had his 26th birthday. Happy birthday. Oh, visual novel. Of course. I knew it was going to be something I knew, but I can't read now. At the start of every video, just say chicken jockey. In the voice, right? Oh, I definitely could do some voice acting. Just it's impossible to get any gigs, but if anybody was doing a free thing, I would totally voice act for it. Because it's one of those games where you make a choice, but the main character does the choice way differently than I imagined it. Interesting. I definitely want to get into that game. And that just ticks me off. Yeah, not all. I feel like both games and anime are going in certain directions that I don't enjoy as much as the old way. And maybe that's just a product of getting older. But I definitely enjoyed certain things. I thought there was more variety to both anime and video games back in the day. Oh, I really wish I could think of the name of that game. It's killing me. It's like I have the song in my head, but I can't think of the name of it. I'm going to see if I can look through my song list. This is terrible. My brain doesn't work anymore. You guys would find my music playlist amusing, to say the least. It is full of video game and anime music. That's just what I like to listen to. Probably not going to find it. Because I can't even think of the letter it starts with. That's so terrible. I'm so frustrated that I can't remember the name of the game. A little bit more of trying this and then I'll give up. I give up. Reincarnated as a sumo fighter, I navigate the dungeon and search for food. I like it. Nothing is releasing this year because its console generation is dying out. I still prefer the console. I don't like playing games on the computer. And Switch 2's launch has a lot of problems, so nothing there to replace it, of course. I feel movies and video game people are afraid to try new stuff, even though the real novel and creative stuff gets popular nowadays. Just everything's been standardized. Like, these are the things that are popular, so you have to do it this way. But people don't like new things. People want Mario and Zelda over and over again. And more Marvel movies. Not me, man. I do like a good Mario game, but I want different things. I miss the crazy, wacky things that didn't quite work, but you were still contemplating afterwards. Like, wow, what do I think about that? How do I feel about the weirdness of that? And instead, we just get the same stuff over and over again. It's just, ugh. I'll just go to the past. I'm a handheld guy. I never owned a console, but played a lot of my grandfather's Wii. I've been a console person forever. Even when computer games started to become more popular, I would get the console version, or I just would wait, 5 years until it came out on the console. With the exception of, what was it? The amusement park game on the computer where you could build your own amusement park. I mentioned Claire Obscure yesterday, and it's a super small studio of 30 people, and people are talking about winning Game of the Year. All right, let me write that down. I'm going to write that down so that I check it out. I had to write all these things down. Well, just people. Why risk it when you know you slap superheroes on things and it will make millions versus making something new and original and you lose money? Because art should be separate from money. And unfortunately, it's not. But, all the great artists of the world, they were all broke. And they made all the accolades came after they were dead. So they were willing to make a sacrifice for art. We don't make sacrifices as much anymore. The AAA industry is like a giant bubble that is waiting to burst. The AA and indie games are where the interesting games are. Yeah, and they don't get the push that the big games get. I love the indie games. My hot take is that no Marvel movie is above a 7.5. I'd probably give it lower than a 7.5. I'd probably give the new Marvel movies like a 2. I don't watch them anymore. I've given up. Yes, it is Roller Coaster Tycoon. Thank you. The whole name is Claire Obscure Expedition 33. Okay, I'll write that down. I swear that game came out of nowhere. I'm a big video games guy, and I never heard of it before its release. All the more reason you should play it. But they don't have to be good like you think the Minecraft movie was ever not going to be popular. People are going to watch it no matter what. Exactly. I saw clips of it. I'm like, this looks terrible. But of course, it made billions of dollars. But isn't that such an empty world where you value the dollar more than the artistic expression? That's how I feel. But maybe I'm foolish. I don't know. But it's a turn-based RPG and it's selling like hotcakes, so I like that. Cry about it, Square Enix. Oh, Square Enix. Their reputation will never be the same. Marvel has done horrible damage to Western writers. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Even animes, which I think animes are going down in quality a little bit compared to the past. Not terribly, but they are starting to get a little formulaic too. But you watch an anime and you're like, please, Marvel, don't waste my time. And Western writers, like, they don't write believable things. They write, like, the fantasy of fantasy. Like, what makes fantasy interesting is that it feels real. When you write stuff that's just not interesting or possible or not the way real people talk, it's really the dialogue that kills me. What's the point? I like how Japanese shows will make the dumbest premise ever, put comedy in it, but then take the story beats with serious melodrama. Yeah, there's a formula. Monster, it's really good. I'm about halfway through and the story and sheer artistry of it is unreal. Yes, definitely. Definitely got to check it out. Reincarnated as a vending machine. Yes, I watched it. Yeah, some of the titles are so insanely ridiculous. Anyone know anything about Bravely Default? Almost played it years ago and just saw it getting a remake or something. Never heard of it. Western writers just don't respect their own shows a lot of the time. I think Western writers they just don't care. Like, it almost feels like they just want the paycheck. And their idea of imagination is so shallow and surface level that's why they stink. They don't know how to really get into the heart of a human being and the things that people really care about. Because that's all it takes. All it takes is, what are the most important things that people value? Not all the superficial stuff. And usually it has something to do with life, death, family, danger, like real danger, not like danger that you don't respect, like There's intrinsic things that everybody cares about, and they don't care about those things. I don't have a PS5 or computer, so I can't play it, sadly. I just got a PS5. I went to the last Looney Tunes movie with my nephew a couple months ago. The first 15 minutes were rough, but eventually I got to sleep. Oh, no. I'm still sad that Disney effed over EU for Star Wars. Star Wars. 3 movies, that's all that I acknowledge, okay? That's why Furrin is so good. It's all about the character's growth, just set in a fantasy world that's also fantastic. Believe it or not, there was a Catholic priest who does like video game and movie reviews, and he recommended that anime on his YouTube channel. I'm like, all right. So I put it in my queue. Hot Bob Gob's been telling me about it. This priest is telling me about it. So I'm like, all right, I'll give it a shot. So it is in my queue, but I got to finish Fruits Basket first. Oh my goodness, guys. We went over the 2-hour mark. That's insane. This is going to be up there with the longest podcasts. And anybody who's like listening to this is going to be like, wow, what happened to Sumo? It just turned into a conversation about video games and anime. They should know. They should know how this goes. There's a 4th. Okay? I love video games, but I feel like this generation, for the first time, I might not have a good console to play. It sucks. The PS5 is a good console, but it's expensive. Maybe because Furrin hates demons. Maybe. What, you don't like the prequels? What about the Clone Wars? Nah. You guys don't understand. I'm a very, very picky person when it comes to entertainment. I have very high standards because, as I told you, I'm a writer myself, so I care about the details. And none of the Star Wars stuff is doing it for me. It just feels so shallow in comparison. I want to feel something, even if it's like excitement. It's just not working. Yes, I knew it was a movie quote, but I didn't know what it was from. Oh, well, thank you, Kaliwali. This is favorite podcast right now. Farron is very malicious towards demons. The show treats demons like actual demons. Interesting. The 3rd stream is where the off-topic goes. Yeah, that's true. That and the Bonzuke stream. She hates demons more than anything. Clone Wars is peak Star Wars. I will admit, I didn't watch it, but because I have all these picky standards, I didn't want to give it a chance. I prefer the Gendi Clone Wars over CGI one. Do you write fantasy? Yes, I write fantasy. Have you watched Andor? No, I have not watched Andor. I've heard about it, though. I've heard talk about it. Yeah, fictional demons are often just sexy people with triangle tails. Good point. From El Dorado. Yes, well, because the way demons are seen in Japanese lore versus how demons are seen in other places in the world is different. Gendi is the director's name. Oh, okay. Is it Gendi or Gendi? I don't know. You'd have to, like, spell it out for me there. Yeah, I'm a picky person. I'm a jerk. I have high standards. So, some things you guys might like, I'm probably like, nah, I didn't like that. Or I didn't give that a chance. That's me. I'm a jerk. But you like to come and listen anyway. So. All right. Guys, I officially can't even see anymore because the way that the chat works when you're in the studio is that it is a black background with white letters. I already told you I'm blind without my glasses. Well, I'm also blind at nighttime. So, I am going to finally say farewell. I did far more than 5 minutes, so I think I was, good this time. This might be one of our longest live streams ever. Get us to 1,000 and we can go for 6 hours. Yes, you've made me do this so long that I'm now blind. Yes, I am okay, but I am blind. Literally, the letters are swirling, and I have to put my face right in front of the screen, which is not good for you. So, Kaliwali, thanks for coming and extending the talk. I'm sure everyone appreciates you for that. I appreciate you as well. I appreciate you coming and listening and hanging out. This is our last one for the week, so it's worth it to go a little bit later. I will catch all of you. You will hear me on the Sunday morning Sumo show, and then I will catch all of you on the recap. It is Memorial Day weekend, so the premiering of it I am not certain of yet. We're not even recording until Monday because of Memorial Day weekend, so it might be Tuesday, it might be Wednesday. I know you guys will be okay with that. So thank you all. Thank you, Elise. Thank you, Kaliwali. Thank you, Monster. Both Monsters. H. Tim. Hob Bob Gob. Army, who's long gone. Elise. I think I said Hob Bob Gob. I'm tired. If I missed anybody, I'm sorry. Thanks for live streaming. Good night. Good night. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Elise. Thank you, Hob Bob Gob. I'm officially out.